Hey guys, Scarrow9 here. Welcome back to the Last Word Podcast, episode 30. Joined, as always, by my co-hosts, Iconoclast and Jay-Z Basketball 25.
What's up, guys?
Hey.
Boom! Big news! I kind of clickbaited this, but it's worth it. We are now on the iTunes. That is not a joke. That's nothing of a lie or anything. So I just posted the link down in the chat. If you watch this, the archived version on Monday, go ahead and leave us a review. I'll have the link down in the description. If you would, it'll help us get higher on the charts, help more people see us and stuff. That would be awesome. If you're in the live chat right now, if you could just go give us a quick review. I don't even care if you literally hate the podcast, tell us what we could do better. Maybe be a little bit nice, but no, but I'm serious. It's like it's pretty awesome. I'm pretty excited for this. I worked pretty hard to get it there. Honestly, it should have been there a long time ago, but now it's officially there. I'm pretty excited for it. And yeah, and I just realized I don't think I turned game audio off because that's the type of person I am. Boom. But yeah, episode 30. How you guys been doing this week? Everyone, anything? Has anyone actually played Destiny since the last time, the last episode?
No, the only time I play Destiny anymore is when I get on with you guys to do this.
Oh yeah. Oh, I guess we did carries, Jay-Z.
Ray carries, homie.
Yeah.
Oh, duh. Yeah, and I got my shader that I just found out about that's in my Postmaster.
Yep, I still want Wildfire, man. We also found out that at Gamescom, we are officially going to be learning something new about Destiny 2. So that's pretty exciting. Probably a new trailer. Bungie has a history of dropping new trailers at Gamescom, so we'll see, man. We'll see. It's pretty exciting. What else is there? There's not much. Oh yeah, the new poster. I made a video on it yesterday. What do you guys think about that poster? It came out of nowhere.
Yeah, that's at GameStop, right?
Yeah. It's one side is Call of Duty World War II, one side Destiny 2.
Is it yet another pre-order bonus?
Yep, that is a pre-order bonus. Yep.
Unreal.
They actually told me when I went there, they're like, I think we're only supposed to give these to people who pre-order both. And I was like, that's kind of dumb because you can only display one side at a time, you know? It's very counterintuitive. But GameStop employees are always really chill. And everyone, like, there's people in my comment section like, because someone went to GameStop and they didn't have it, so they called me a liar. I think Zessia pointed out that, like, YouTubers always find out this stuff. But it's like, I just happen to have a good relationship with the people in my GameStop, you know? It's not like I get exclusives. They don't even know I do YouTube. I just, like, rolled up. I think I saw it on Reddit, and we just happened to be driving past it, so I went in there, and they were like, hey, did you hear about this new poster? And I picked one up, and it's gigantic. The thing's the size of a movie poster, 27 by 40 inches. It's crazy, so pretty excited for that. It looks really cool. It doesn't have any branding, and it's just K6 like lay in there with the last word. It's pretty awesome, I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, that's like our 12th pre-order bonus.
Are you sure it's the last word? I thought it was Ace of Spades.
Yeah, Ace of Spades, that's what I meant, man. That's what I meant.
All right, just making sure.
You get stage fright, man. You make a big announcement like we're now on iTunes, and you just
stage fright.
You do it, man.
Dude, it's just iTunes. Nobody uses that platform anyway.
No one uses iTunes. Okay, tell that to Joe Rogan, man.
Right.
Oh goodness. So yeah, that's pretty exciting. So like I said, if everyone would go leave us a review, I'm not sure how that works. If it's per episode or about the entirety of everything. Iconic, how's that work, man?
It's for the whole podcast. So you can put reviews on each episode if you want when you click on the actual episode. But when you click on the channel, you can leave a review for the channel as well. So obviously, you know, the channel's the more important thing because when people are searching, so if someone like me was to go on to iTunes, like I do all the time, and try to look for different podcasts to listen to, if I type in Destiny, game podcast or something like that in the search, it's going to prioritize highly voted, podcasts over, ones that are getting like 1 stars.
Yeah. Okay.
So the more 5-star rankings we get, the higher we go up on the search. So it helps the podcast grow.
Well, that would be awesome. So the 150 of you guys to 200 that watch this consistently every single week, whether it be the live recording or the archived version, if you could just take a second out of your day and go do that, that would help us so much, and that would be just fantastic. It really would. But that's enough about that. Episode 30, that's pretty much the weekly update. today's episode is all about looking back over Destiny. We're going to go DLC by DLC, event by event. We're going to go in chronological order, and we're going to say what the highest points in Destiny were. And hopefully by the end of this, we'll be able to kind of discern what the best time in Destiny was. So does that sound good to you guys?
Yeah.
All right, so of course we have Vanilla. Now, I myself did not play Vanilla Destiny, so I can't really say much about it. I know the story was pretty lackluster, and that's about it. So, Jay-Z and Icona, you guys are both Vanilla players, correct?
Yeah.
Correct.
So why don't you guys take turns or decide who wants to just kind of reminisce on what the Vanilla experience was like for you guys, coming straight into Destiny before anyone knew what it was.
Well, I mean, I'll go first because I honestly don't have that much positive to say about, the vanilla Destiny experience because honestly it wasn't that great. A lot of the things that we have now that we take for granted, we didn't have back then. Caching in motes of light for experience, using DIM on your computer to transfer your stuff, back in my day, we had to go to the vault, in the tower to get our gear, and if you realized, oh, I needed that sniper rifle for Vault of Glass, you'd have to have all 6 of your fire team, get out and go to the tower. So I don't know, man. There was not a whole lot, positive to say about Vanilla. I guess what I can say is that Vanilla was special to me because it was like unlike nothing I'd ever done before. You go into this world and you're playing with all of these other people. You're collecting loot. It was just magical the way it all felt. It was just so perfect because it was like, even though you knew that the game wasn't exactly where you want it to be there, you knew that it had so much potential to get better, and that's exactly what it did over the following 3 years. And the one specific positive thing I'll say for Vanilla is the Loot Cave. I know the Loot Cave gets a lot of bad raps, but I have so many fond memories. Like the first time I actually hit the Loot Cave, it was completely on accident. I was actually going on patrol, and I ended up over by Skywatch. I don't know what I was doing. I was probably messing around, and I see literally 8 people standing into this cave, and I'm like, oh, there must be an event or something going on. I'm still new. I didn't really know what was going on, and then I was like, oh, well, I'll wait till those guys disperse, and I'll go check it out. And then I gave it a good 3 or 4 minutes. I think I went and cashed in a bounty, like kill everything bounty, and then I came back and I saw all these guys are still standing there. Why are they still standing there? And then I figured it out that these guys are farming. I want to go get in on that. And sure enough, I sat there and I probably spent a good 2 hours myself, shooting in that damn cave. And it was fun. I was party chatting with one of the dudes, and I don't know. It was a cool experience. Again, unlike anything that you can do in any other game.
Yeah, for sure. All right, Jay-Z, what were your fondest moments in Vanilla? What did you like? What did you not like?
So for the first 3 months of Vanilla, I was pretty much a solo player. Like I had a few friends that had the game, but we didn't really they didn't get on. I got on every day, because when there's grindy games like this, that's what I do. I grind. So I was pretty much. I was gonna say the Loot Cave. I can't believe I kind of actually like that, but I did enjoy the Loot Cave. I spent hours and hours. Getting some of my first legendary engrams in there, and half of them turned to blue anyway. So, but it was still fun. So
the good old days, man.
Yeah, and I even forgot about it. He even mentioned cashing in your bounties, because at that point in time you couldn't just click on them to turn them in. You had to take them back to the tower, and you had to take them back.
Oh man, I forgot about that. See, a lot of that stuff applies to what I'll get into in a bit too,
yeah. But so I remember the Gjallarhorn was sold first week by Xur, and I'm like, a rocket launcher. I'm like, who wants a rocket launcher as their first weapon? So I saved that. I didn't buy it. I had enough strange coins that week, and it wasn't until December that I got my second Gjallarhorn. The first Gjallarhorn actually. So, but I didn't realize it was nobody realized at that time it was the god tier weapon.
Yeah. Because that's the thing. Everyone, that's the meme. Who wants to waste their exotic slot on a rocket launcher?
Yeah.
Oh man.
I remember week 2 or week 3, it was the Suros regime, and that was the meta then, was auto rifles, and I think it was auto rifles, and that was it. maybe some hand cannons, but I wasn't really as good with hand cannons at the time. So the Suros was like the gun to have in like the first couple months of Destiny. So I remember having that. I remember saving up strange coins to buy my first legendary Sparrow. Like that was a big deal.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they hand them out left and right, but it was such a big deal to be able to go like that much faster. You know.
Yeah, and
boost.
Yeah, the different colors and stuff.
Yeah,
man.
exactly.
Yeah.
So I had like a red and black one because those are my favorite colors. So, I bought the red and black Sparrow kit and transformed that. So that was awesome. And then the next vanilla part that I really enjoyed was obviously Vault of Glass and then Crota's End. Like I didn't do my first raid until I think a week before Crota's End.
Mm-hmm.
Just because like I wanted to play with my friends, but none of them ever got on reliably enough to get a group of 6 people together. So
yeah, and there wasn't anything like the 100 back then or anything.
No, I LFG'd it. I'm like, screw this. I want to play this raid. It looks awesome. I saw streamers do it. I'm like, I want, and plus I wanted the weapons. Like they just looked awesome. So I got on LFG. I met a group of really cool people. I think Josh was one of them actually in that first group. Lee was in one of my first groups as well that I did Vault in. And it was a blast. Like it was awesome, and I wish I would have been able to do that raid blind, just because like your first time in Vault is it's just this huge area and it's so awesome. But we actually cheesed the Templar before they fixed that as well. So
where you sat on the outside and just
no, we used to do that every time. At the one where you could go to the bottom where he spawns and then throw grenades. Warlocks could pop their
and push them off or whatever.
Yeah, and push them off. Before they blocked it.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. So
everyone's always talks about Atheon, but yeah, Templar could be pushed off too, man. Oh yeah.
Yeah, just doing the raid with a group of and they were all cool people. Like I got lucky because a lot of people, especially ones that we help carry through the raid carries, they either can't find a good group or something like that. So I was lucky to find a good group, and then a lot of them became friends, and then a lot of
now here we are.
Yeah, a good portion of them are in the clan, and now it's we don't have any problem finding raid groups, but that's the whole thing of Destiny. It's the most social experience I've ever played in a game, to where I've met so many new people, and I think that's probably my favorite part of year one, is just having a group of close friends that I met year one and going into year two that I'm still friends with now and will be going forward. So
yeah,
I would say that's probably it.
All right, well, then came Crota's End. We already kind of hinted on that. Crota's End wasn't too revolutionary in terms of content, right? You had the blades appearing in the Cosmodrome. That was all right. The Necrochasm, which was the first like exotic quest in the game. But other than that, there wasn't Crota's End, notably the glitchiest raid ever. What were you saying?
Oh, they had exotic quests before that. The Thorn was an exotic quest.
Oh my goodness, the exotic missives, dude!
Yeah, the
Pocket Affinity, the Thorn,
Affinity.
Bad Juju.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Those were really hard quests too before they even dumbed them down.
Yeah. Oh man, I remember the Thorn one. Probably one of the hardest quests to date, man.
Yes.
Especially because void weapons were like the rarest thing ever. And if you didn't
Atheon's epilogue was the void weapon.
Yeah. And if you didn't do the raids, you couldn't, like, you had to walk around with like a Felwinter's or something.
Yeah, or shotgun or sniper that you got void. Yeah.
I'm not a PvP guy, but when I did that quest, that was probably one of the most satisfying things, because I'm not good at PvP, as I've said a million times, but for whatever reason, when it came time to doing that quest, I turned the intensity up, and I actually, because it was like, I forget what it was, like you had to maintain a KD, but like you had to do it like across matches, like you couldn't even like, you had to like, I forget how it worked, but
that wasn't that one. The Thorn was just you had to get 100 void kills, I believe, right?
No, I think if you died, it took points
Right.
away.
Oh yeah,
Yes,
it took points
yeah.
away. So the KD one, there was one where you had to keep
Last
a KD
word.
over 1.
Year 2, I think. Last word was.
No,
No,
what
there's
I'm
a
saying,
there's a
KD
specific KD. No, there's a specific one that said finish match or have a KD above that. I
Yeah,
forget
that's
which
not what I'm
weapon
talking
it was.
about. I'm talking about like just maintaining a KD of 1 at least,
Oh,
just
okay.
so you could, stay in the positive.
Yeah.
For me, you have to understand the KD of 1 was not always guaranteed because I was so bad. So
Mhm.
the fact that I grinded that, and I remember exactly the weekend that happened because my girlfriend at the time, my wife now, she was going to her mom's house and she was like, I'm going to be there all day. And I was like, well, what am I going to do all day? And I remember that I only had a little bit done on that Thorn quest. I'm like, you know what? This is it. This is the day I'm getting it done. And I remember I gave myself that goal and I stuck to it. And I spent literally that whole weekend or I think it was a whole Sunday, just grinding that. And I did it with the Word of Crota too. And I'm not a hand cannon user.
Yeah.
So yeah, I did it with the Word of Crota. So yeah, that's probably, yeah. Now that I'm thinking about it, because that doesn't really count as vanilla, but I kind of look at that as a vanilla achievement for me because that was something that I took time out, I strived for it, and I got it. So yeah, that was awesome.
Man, yeah. So I remember that as well. So I'll go ahead. When I came in, the best. That's why the House of Wolves is the best. That's when Scarrow started.
Wow.
So
First person
False.
literally
It
ever
was
to say
False.
yeah, right. But it was crazy because Wolven, who's actually in chat right now, and myself, we were just the biggest Borderlands fans. Like, I have probably like equal hours into Borderlands as I do into Destiny. It's pretty crazy, and we were just looking for something new because obviously Borderlands, like once Tiny Tina's came out, it was just over, right? Like nothing else ever happened. So we were looking for a new looter shooter, and he's like, Destiny looks pretty cool, and I was like, man, this doesn't look that good at all. And then so we both went into GameStop and started it. So we got it for like, I don't know, used. It was like $15 back then. It wasn't even that much. And that day, I fell in love, and I remember he got really mad at me because I promised I would wait for him to keep going. Because like we like started characters at the same time, and then when we got off, we were like level 9. And he's like, "All right, man, you have to wait for me." And then the next day, he had work and I didn't, and I was like, "All right, screw that, I'm playing." And so I grinded all the way to like level 20 back then, right? And
Yep.
then man,
It was
the first
30.
was
all
it 30?
Yeah.
Okay, so
well,
the
30
first
with gear, 20 was just like, because there was no light back then.
Yeah, without legendaries. It was
yeah,
20.
32, yeah, right.
Yeah, level 20 was like natural, like just getting XP and filling up your bar.
Mhm.
30 was like when you started putting on the gear from Vault of
Oh
Glass.
yeah, and
Vault of Glass
with
got you to 28, I think, and then Crota got you to 30.
30,
No,
yeah.
Vault got you to 30,
32,
and Crota got you to 32.
and then
32.
yeah, House of Wolves was 34. So I got to highest base level, and I got to a point where I was like, what the heck's the Vault of Glass? So I started looking up, and I accidentally stumbled upon an LFG site, and I remember I ran into this random group of like extremely British like 13-year-olds, and they taught me how to do Vault of Glass, and I was just like, I had never been in a position where I was the person being taught how to do it. Like, I was so confused, and it just, all the mechanics were insane to me. And that's when I knew Destiny was going to be an amazing game. And then when Trials started, when I started getting into Trials, that's when I met Psycho on LFG, and that's when I got introduced to Legions, and then boom. So in the course of 2 months, my life went from what the hell is Destiny to this is the only game I'll like ever play ever again. It was pretty crazy. And God, House of Wolves was awesome. And House of Wolves, arguably, it gets a bad rep, but arguably, it was the most game-changing DLC for Destiny, because it did add that Trials of Osiris aspect, which is it's just it's so important for the player base that Destiny has now. I mean, as annoying as Trials is, I would argue that Destiny would be nowhere near as large as it is now if Trials had never been a thing. So
I'll agree with that.
yeah, it's
Just
man,
for,
it was
just for streaming and streamer purposes, because that brought a lot of people to Destiny, watching people play Trials on stream.
Yeah. And one thing I also want to point out, like, this is one of my favorite memories looking back, but at the time I had no idea how lucky I was. My first exotic, I was playing Crucible. It was on Asylum. I was, I think, second on the leaderboard, right? And I did really well, and I was just using blue weapons. And freaking at the end of the game, I got a yellow weapon, Thunderlord, and I was like, what the hell is that? I don't know what this is. And I couldn't even equip it yet. And I was like, because back then exotics were max level only. And I was like, I have no idea what this is. And people were messaging me like, kill yourself, I hate you. And I was like, I don't know what the hell just happened. Keep in mind, this was before I even got my first legendary, right? And now, like, looking back, I have never had another exotic ever drop from Crucible. So it is crazy to me that I got my first exotic that new into the game, and it was Thunderlord, which was a really good exotic back then. It's crazy to me. So that's a pretty good memory. What were your guys' first exotics? When did those happen?
I was playing Crucible. I don't remember what map or anything like that, but I was playing Crucible, and I was. It's the age-old story that you would read on Reddit back then, which sent people, to the moon in anger. Where the guy at the bottom of the list gets the best stuff. Well, I was at the bottom of the list. I went like 4-30 or something like that. I had a horrible match, and I'm watching all the gear fly down the side of the screen, and I hear the ka-chunk, and I was like in my phone doing something, and I heard the ka-chunk. I was like, oh, somebody got an exotic, and so I look up at my TV, and I was the one that got the exotic. I'm like, what the hell is this thing? What the hell's an icebreaker?
Your first exotic was Icebreaker?
Yeah. So I'm like, what the hell's an icebreaker? And I looked it up and everything. I was like, oh wow, that's pretty cool. Regenerates ammo. Like, I didn't even really fully understand how awesome it was until I started playing with it. I took it to patrol. I was just messing around the Cosmodrome with it. I'm like, this is the best thing I've ever seen in my life. So yeah, that was my first exotic. I got it from being like 0.0 KD in a Crucible match. So,
that's pretty funny. What about you, Jay-Z?
So I was in patrol probably the second week of the game, and I got a blue to drop, and I took it to Rahul, and it encrypted into the icebreaker. So that
Holy
was my
crap!
first
I didn't even know
too.
blues could go into exotics back then.
Yeah, back in the beginning, and they can do it now too again. But
it's
I think for a while
super rare.
Yes, but it was like, because I got all these legendaries that turn into blues, I'm like, this is so frustrating. And then I have a blue go into a exotic, and it was the icebreaker, which at that time, because I played solo, was probably the best solo weapon in the game.
Yeah.
And then I got my second exotic that same week, was when I bought from Xur. I bought the Suros. So I got Icebreaker, Suros the second week of the game, which was really awesome, because those are two of the better year one weapons. And Icebreaker overall is one of the better weapons in the game. So
yeah, I got I remember I think it was like my second exotic. It might not have been, because exotic pieces of armor weren't really that great back then. I think the only pieces of armor that were crazy, the Aquaphase Symbiote was like the exotic for hunters back then. Like, it was crazy. Yeah. Then you had for warlocks, geez, I don't even know. The Purifier robes were huge, but other than that, I mean, and then Titans, you had the Saint 14.
No, for warlocks, it was either the Heart of Praxic Fire, which was the exotic to get in year one.
Oh yeah, right.
Or I use the Starfire Protocol every once in a while as well. But I honestly, on my Warlock, I barely used exotics, because like, they were all right, but until House of Wolves, when they came out with like what was the helmet, the black one. I'm on my Warlock. Let me look.
Obsidian Mind.
Yeah, until that came out, and the Ram and stuff like that.
Oh, dude, the Ram used to be so overpowered.
Yeah, but it wasn't out until House of Wolves, or was it?
No, it was House of Wolves. Yeah.
House of Wolves. Yeah. So, like, we didn't have. I was trying so hard to get the bone-looking helmet for the Warlock, because I was a Warlock main, but there was really not many good exotics armor-wise for the Warlock year one, in my opinion, other than Heart of Praxic Fire.
That was the thing back then, man. I was rocking 3 hunters. Goodness gracious, how things have changed. But yeah, but I remember I was running that was like I think the moment I really started to get crazy into Destiny was the moment I picked up the Red Death. Like I said, it was like my second or third exotic, and I was doing a Prison of Elders, and it came out with the chest, and I was like, oh, this seems cool, and I was looking it up, and people back then there weren't like, as far as I remember, there weren't any like huge YouTube reviews or exotic reviews and stuff, and I remember I was like it was like IGN.com or some site, and they were like, if you get this exotic, do not dismantle it because it's really good. So I was like, all right, and from that moment onward, it was like my favorite gun in Destiny, and that was like the Red Death is so like it seems normal, but it's so unique, right? It's got a really unique aesthetic. The exotic perk is insane. It used to be crazy. I don't know. That was a game changer for me. But just the entirety of Destiny, like year one, like I think one of the reasons I wanted to do this episode was year one Destiny gets such a bad rep a lot of the time. But to be completely honest, and it's very likely that it's just because of nostalgia, but year one Destiny might be my favorite time in Destiny ever. You know, like just like I said, a lot of that I could probably attribute to nostalgia, but just to how it just looking back, man, it wasn't smooth over. It was very rough, but at the same time, it was very grindy, which is what I look for in games. So
yeah, that's why I liked year one a lot better, just because with the Taken King when they introduced the exotic. Or the 3 of coins, it just kind of ruined the game for me.
Yeah.
And in year one, like like every new gun that you got was a new discovery, and you know once you got all the guns, you lost that luster of this is a brand new gun. I get to shoot it for the first time. I get to level it up for the first time because you didn't have the modes of light that just leveled up immediately back then. So like. You actually got to play with the gun from base through fully upgraded and see how good it was.
Mm-hmm.
So I enjoyed experiences like that, I guess. And
yeah, exotics used to be so hard to level up, man.
Yes, and
especially like armor pieces. Yes. They took like a year, and the exotic perk didn't unlock until it was like the very last node.
Yeah, because now they give it to you right off the bat.
Yeah, there were no intrinsic perks back then, so I was like, oh great, I spent 50 bounties on this thing. I now get increased grenade energy on melee kills or some garbage. God.
But I enjoyed that aspect because I was grinding anyway, so might as well grind like level up stuff while you're doing it at the same time.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I guess I could see the other side of that, but
and subclasses too. Do you remember how hard subclasses used to be to level up?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It would take a whole week pretty much of straight playing.
Of straight bounties. You had to get every Crucible bounty, every Vanguard bounty, and back when you could only hold like 5 bounties, it wasn't even that much.
Yeah.
It might have been 10, and now we can hold 16. But it was like, and yeah, you had to hand deliver them.
It was like 8, I think, if I remember right.
Jeez, man.
Yeah, it was something crazy small.
And yeah, you had to go back to the tower every time you completed it, and then like the Petra bounties and stuff, and you had to fly to all the different social areas. That's the thing, like that is so rough and unsmooth content. But I enjoyed that so, like, doing it, like, logging on and not automatically flying into the tower, which is still not a thing, but just, and having to, like, spend 10 minutes before you get on, and then 10 minutes before you get off, like, just sorting out, putting things in your vault, turning in bounties, like, it was a rough, annoying part, but, like, looking back, I kind of miss that a little bit, you know? So
I do. Because I think most people have more of Icano's opinion when it comes to grinding and stuff like that. But I think we're more of the Borderlands crowd where we enjoy that grind, enjoy that constant trying to get a little bit better weapon.
I thought I kind of liked grind.
Well, here's the thing. Let me clarify what I like in the grind.
Okay.
I'm gonna go back to Diablo 3 because that's what I've been grinding the most over the past.
I'm just gonna make that your logo, dude. It's gonna be
do it.
It's going to be a Diablo guy holding a carrot on a stick.
You know what? That's not bad. Make a t-shirt of that. I'll buy it.
Merch.
Merch. We got it. We got our first merch.
Oh, man.
No, like in Diablo 3, there's this... my main in Diablo 3 was the Barbarian. And the Barbarian had a build that required a legendary sword called Thunder Fury. and is one of the rarest weapon drops in the game. And I really wanted to play this build because I watched it on YouTube. I was like, wow, this build looks really cool. I wish I could use this build. And I tried it with other weapons, and it just didn't work. So the only way you could play with that build was to have this sword. So I was like, all right, then that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to grind until I get the Thunder Fury. Well, flash forward 3.5 years of Diablo 3, and I never got it. So here's the thing. As much as I hate not getting loot that I grinded for 3 years, I was still enjoying the grind because I enjoyed playing the game because I was getting other stuff. I was probably getting, armor pieces or relics and things like that I wouldn't have normally gotten because I was grinding for the sword so much. So my biggest gripe with Destiny is that I felt that there was always a grind, but it wasn't always rewarding. So it's okay to make me grind. It's okay to make me play the same damn mission over and over again. But as long as there's a carrot at the end of that stick, I'll still be there every week doing it. And I just wasn't appreciating the carrot on the end of the stick for the last 3 years when I would play a Nightfall. And guess what? I didn't get a good example of an exotic that I was looking for here was the Thagomizers for the Titan. I wanted to make the punch everything build that I saw on YouTube. This guy was using Monte Carlo with the Thagomizers, and he was punching everything and just getting infinite supers with it. I was like, that looks really cool. Guess what? Didn't have Thagomizers, so I grinded for it. And I never got them. But here's the thing. When I was doing Nightfalls, when I was doing raids and everything else that can possibly get you exotic drops, I wasn't getting anything else either. I was getting ghosts for doing a Nightfall. Like, come on, man. So it's like, I don't mind a grind as long as I'm getting rewarded with something. Just give me something for my trouble. And I feel like the last 3 years of Destiny, they weren't always Johnny on the spot with rewarding you for your time.
See, that's why I want specific loot sources, Borderlands style. So when I don't get rewards, I know it's just because bad RNG. At least like in a loot pool where there's 50 exotics and you don't get any of them, that just kind of sucks. But if there's only one, it's a little bit different. But yeah, man, and as Vegan just pointed out, in year 1 you had 36 weapon slots and 36 armor slots, and
in the vault.
And there wasn't any.
I forgot about the vault.
Was there any general slots? I don't even remember general slots.
They were all on the same screen.
Yeah, there wasn't even different tabs.
Yeah, they were all armor, weapons, and items were all on the same thing.
Oh my goodness, man! How we have improved from that.
How did we like? God, we seriously did. We walked uphill both ways to and from school. Like, we really did, man.
But, I mean, we didn't know any different, so it was fine.
Yeah, that's why I made my first character that wasn't my main, was for, like, as storage.
Yeah.
And then, oh, man.
But, like looking back, it was crazy, but, like, at the time, that's all we knew, so it wasn't a big deal at all.
Yeah, now people are complaining about like 100 slots or whatever we get now. 70.
I have like 90 weapons in there. I'm never probably ever gonna use, but they're kind of like trophy pieces now. Is more than anything.
Yeah, Vegan in chat says we got 24 armor slots, 36 weapon slots, and 24 general slots in year 1. Because I remember armor and weapons were different. Because I remember one was on the right, one was on the left. I don't remember the general though. But
yeah, it was like basically all your like your bonds, your.
Oh yeah, dude. Oh man. And yeah, there used to be no shader or emblem collections either. Oh my goodness.
And your ghost never had light, and you never had any other ghosts, I don't think, until.
If you pre-ordered, you had the Frontier Ghost. And
I had that one.
But yeah, that was SRL that they started. Was that the first thing that gave you ghosts?
I think so, and then they did the
Taken King did.
King. That's right.
Taken King, yeah.
Because they added that ghost or whatever, the invisible one.
Oh, the Ghost, yes.
Ghost was second Festival of the Lost.
No, it was I call it Ghost. It was the one that looked like the Taken. The
oh yeah.
Just the Desolate Shell or whatever it's called. Yeah. Yeah, man. Jeez.
And
so I guess we can actually get into that, the Taken King. I guess that's a good segue. Yeah, so Taken King was huge. Added artifact slot. It was the first real new story stuff since Destiny 2. It was the first raid in 8 months or something crazy like that since
9 months.
9 months, yeah, jeez. And oh goodness, yeah, Taken King was huge because all of that artifact slot, ghosts, different ghosts, swords, full expansion on sidearms. There wasn't just the one, the Vestian Dynasty. There was a whole bunch of them. But yeah, what are your guys' favorite memories from Taken King? Because that was the first one I stayed up for. I skipped. I don't think I had to skip class. I just think I didn't have school that day or something. And yeah, I played all day. Did that raid blind. So what were your guys' favorite thing from Taken King?
Probably beating Orcs the first time, because I remember that it wasn't you guys. It was my previous clan that I was in, and we were struggle busting that thing super hard. And I just remember when we finally beat Oryx, I was just like, it was so rewarding because we had been at it for probably 4 hours or so, and we had teleporting ogres, we had weasel errors, user error, people just falling off their platforms and stuff.
Right.
Your runner wasn't you're the runner for us now, and when we do the raid, and you've been doing it for so long that you're like a pro at it. But back then when it first hit, no one was a pro at being the runner. So you couldn't you couldn't really count on somebody to be that good at being the runner.
Yeah, and dude, I remember Sisters was terrible because no one knew what the hell counterclockwise was.
Right. And yeah, so I don't know. When we beat the raid the first time, I think that was probably my best achievement out of Taken King. It was nobody screwed up. Everybody was on point. We all knew exactly where to go, what to do, how to do it, and thank God the game didn't screw us with any glitches. So yeah, I mean that was easily my best memory from Taken King.
Yeah. What about you, Jay-Z?
I would say the raid as well, but it was the first one where it just going on the Dreadnought and patrol for the first time after the story mission was awesome.
Yeah.
Just exploring, because they had a lot of secrets in I think almost as many or more than they did in Vanilla Destiny with with the patrol zones. Having the first new patrol zone was awesome, because I mean in House of Wolves we got the outpost, but it was a social space, so it wasn't the same thing.
Yeah.
That was the first new patrol zone, which was awesome. And then just doing the raid blind was because when you get a group of friends where you guys, because we didn't do it launch time, we did it later that night when everybody got off work. So just having a group of friends get together and do a raid blind was because I remember bringing it to work the next day, and I was talking with my best friend, and I'm like, hey, we're stuck on this part, do you have any ideas? And just running it by him. He doesn't even play Destiny or even really care about video games anymore. But it was cool,
pretty cool.
Having that conversation outside of the game with somebody that doesn't even really game anymore.
Yeah.
And it'd be interesting to both people. So I mean that's to me that's a transcending moment for Destiny. It's when you can do stuff like that, because it's cool, and it's something that's never been done. So yeah, just the raid was amazing. It was huge. It's still my favorite raid to this day. I know, Scarrow, you love it too. It's your favorite, and you can't wait to do it every week. So.
Yep. That's not a lie.
But I mean, I just love the scope. I love the pacing of the raid. I know that's another thing you have a problem with that, but
the first couple of times, dude. For the first probably half a year, Kingsfall was my favorite raid at the time. It's redundancy that really kicked my ass on that one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but oh man, see what I really liked about Taken King. I'm not gonna say the raid. I really did enjoy the raid. That was the first raid we did blind. It wasn't at launch time, dude. So listen to this. I don't know if you guys know this. So our team was Toxic, Lucid, me second, and Gar. It was half of us weren't that good at the time. It was pretty bad.
Yeah.
And man, that was an experience. It was we stayed up till 4 o'clock in the morning just doing it. It was that was crazy. But my favorite thing about Taken King, that was right after I had started doing YouTube really seriously, and I remember doing all the little just looking for all the little secrets, all the little chests in the Dreadnought. That's something that goes seriously overlooked. There's like 20-something hidden chests.
Yeah, and all those artifacts, or not artifacts, the thing to get the...
calcified fragments,
yes,
yeah.
Yes, and some of them were, you had to do crazy stuff like get poisoned here and then jump across this bridge.
Invisible jump puzzle, yeah, man. In a certain amount of time.
But that was cool, like, doing that stuff for the first time. Like, yeah, I used a guide on probably a fourth of them, if not less than that. But I got most of them on my own just by like exploring and enjoying the Dreadnought for what it was.
Yeah, and I think my most excited moment was when I forget her name. I think it's Lace Up Warren. She went in and did the reveal, and she showed off the Raise Lighter. That was that was game changing, man. Because I was like, these weapons in Destiny are pretty cool. And then they did the Phoenix Uppercut on stream, and I was just like, this is the best game ever, hands down, man. And I grinded for that thing, like, immediately, right off the bat. That's what I went for.
Yeah, and then swords are probably some of the most, or still the most versatile heavy in the game.
Yeah,
right,
for sure.
I would say.
Oh, man. Taken King was... See, that was game-changing, too. Like, as we're remembering this stuff, I was like, I was pretty firm on I thought that around the House of Wolves era was my favorite. But I don't know. Taken King was pretty awesome, too. The discovery
when was the
of
Black
everything.
Spindle? Like, I know that was for Taniks, but when did the Black Spindle actually happen?
Taken King.
Yeah, it was Taken King, but it was...
It was the strike. You had to go the secret way on it. But it had to be the... It
wasn't a strike, it was the mission, the last... Or the...
No, I thought it had to be the... Yeah, it was the...
But it was during a story mission.
No, it was a strike.
No,
it had to be the weekly featured strike that week.
It had to be the daily featured playlist. Yeah.
Well, there was no playlist. It was
no, story mission, excuse me. It was the story mission for that day. It was the story mission where you get...
Oh, you're right.
Lost to Light, yeah, exactly, yeah. Because I remember...
Yeah, you weren't actually going to go fight Taniks, but that's where it took you. And like the story mission, you were supposed to go the other way, but if you actually went over to go see Taniks, you would go find the secret Black Spindle stuff.
Yeah, that was awesome. Because I remember I had just gotten out of calculus, and I saw like one hidden post on Bungie.net that wasn't blowing up. It was staying small, and I called Fubar. And I was like, all right, Fubar, you're not going to believe this, but they brought the Black Spindle back, so you better get ready. We're going to grind for it. And it was terrible, dude. We spent like 4 hours trying to get it, and it was just like, for obvious reasons, that fire team didn't work very well.
Yeah.
And it was pretty bad. And, man, yeah, that was awesome. The discovery of the secret exotics. You also had the Sleeper Simulant, which didn't come out until, the 7th of the month? The 7th of October, I guess, was when the Sleeper Simulant quest unlocked. That was absolutely insane.
Which now that's probably top DPS exotic in the game.
Yeah, and then the freaking Paradox with the hidden ghost, so you can unlock the first step of the No Time to Explain.
Yes, that was awesome too. And it's like people had to discover those, or it wasn't just something that was there.
Yeah. That's absolutely insane. That was before I was ever a big part of Destiny Reddit or part of the Raid Secrets Discord or anything. Like, I've started being on the forefront of some of those now, but back then I was just like, I would just read the forums and I was like, what did they just find in game? Like, very, very cool stuff. Yeah, and that one, the No Time to Explain, when you found the 3 ghosts and unlocked the secret portal in the jumping puzzle that never had any use. Yeah.
Plus, you got a guaranteed legendary at the end of it as well.
Yeah.
On top of that. Because it was before legendaries were like dropping like candy, like they do now.
Yeah, that was when they first... Yeah, because I remember with the reveal streams, right? I know I keep remembering other things and getting really excited about them, where they were showing off they combined Crucible and Vanguard marks. And then they were showing off, like, you can buy this exotic, sure, but it costs like 130 legendary marks. And I was like... I remember back then there was like a cap of like 30 marks per day or 40 per day, and I was like, how the hell is anyone supposed to get these things? And it was just like, I would do every activity, the daily story every day. I would do the 3 strikes a week, and man, those were good times in Destiny right there for sure. Yeah, really, really happy about that point in Destiny, but it was what came soon after the Festival of the Lost, I will maintain, is the first Festival of the Lost. It was tiny. Is probably my second favorite event in all of Destiny. Just because I was just sitting there playing Destiny between classes, and all of a sudden, like, it pops up on my screen. There's nothing on Bungie.net. They didn't warn us about it. It just appeared one day. And I was like, I remember Victoria was reading on my bed in my dorm room. I was like, okay, Victoria, this day's getting serious. And so I spent all day grinding for the masks because I thought they would do something more. They ended up not doing something more, but it was still like a really just, it appearing out of nowhere one day was amazing. I was a big fan of that. What did you guys think when that first happened? How did you guys find out that the Festival of the Lost was going on?
I was at work, and someone in my clan messaged me, and they were like, "You know what's going on today, right?" And I was like, "No." He was like, "Yeah, but you're gonna want to get on when you get home from work." And like, I came home from work and jumped into the tower, and I saw the candles and everything. I was like, "What the hell is going on? What is happening right now in this tower?" And then I saw the whole like passing out, candy and everything, and the treats, and then the raisins and everything. I was like, "What is this? Is awesome!" Like nobody saw it coming. It was just I don't know, man. Like that little things like that, that's what makes this game special. I mean, you talk about the community and how great the community is and what we've done for charity and everything for the past 3 years, and that's obviously more important as far as like overall what's great about this game. But when you talk about the game itself, one of the things that makes the game itself just so special is that it has a way of capturing you with like the tiniest little like surprises or tiniest little things, and it's stuff like that Black Spindle mission. It's who would have thought that would have happened the way it did.
Right.
And that just, again, it was just, I was at work, and I same dude messaged me. He was like, "You need to get home from work and you need to get on and do this because I'm going to bed soon." Because my old clan that I used to be in, they were from Sweden. They were all Swedish.
What? That's so random.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, not Swedish. They were Scottish. They're all from Scotland.
Oh, okay.
So they were all, so they were all like 5 hours ahead of me. So I would get home at 7 o'clock from work, and it'd already be midnight there. So that's one of the reasons why I left that clan. It just became too difficult to schedule raids and stuff. So the guy was like, "Look, man, you got to get home, and we got to do this really quick." And I came home. I was like, "What are we doing? Like, you still haven't told me what we're doing." And then I joined his party, and we started doing the story mission, Lost to Light. I'm like, "Really? We're doing a story mission?" He was like, No, not just a story mission. You'll see." And next thing you know, I was like, I saw the hell that was breaking loose, and saw the timer on the screen. I was like, "Oh, this is about to get real." And we did it on the first try.
Wow.
I heard that people were in there for hours while I was at work trying to get it done and couldn't get it done. I did it on my first try when I got home.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so little memories like that I look back at all my favorite games, Final Fantasy VII and Super Mario 3, like all the best games I've ever played in my whole life, and I have good memories, but nothing quite like what Destiny's been able to give.
Yeah. What did you think of the Festival of Lost, Jay-Z? How did you find out about it?
I wasn't really too enthused about it. I thought it was cool, but like I'm more of a content guy.
Yeah.
Not necessarily story, but like it was all like stuff that you really couldn't use. Like, yeah, you could get some glimmer from, the candies and whatever, but like I enjoy content where I'm getting new weapons, new armor, stuff that I can grind for. So I actually didn't neither of the 2 years for Festival of the Lost did I actually do the quest for it.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So you don't have all the masks?
Well, I'm slowly getting them with the bags that we get.
Oh, fair, yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, like, no, it just didn't interest me because they didn't have any light on them. So like, I'm like, I can't infuse this or use it, in regular with anything. So
yeah, okay.
Yeah, I paid to win on that, so I got all the masks like on day 2.
Wow.
So.
Oh man, but yeah, see, that was the thing. It was unprecedented because I really liked how they didn't tell us about it, and then what was unfortunate is like right after it finished, we learned about the Dawning, which was crazy because the first time Sparrow Racing was a thing, it was huge, right? Like everyone was freaking out. The first Dawning wasn't that big, other than Sparrow Racing. It wasn't even called the Dawning. It was just SRL, and that was it. And
So they had a dawning in Thanksgiving and around Thanksgiving time.
oh yeah, and all you got was an
Halloween,
emblem.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Halloween.
you got an
And
emblem in your postmaster, and that's it, man.
Yeah, and then it was called the winter something for the SRL.
Yeah,
It was December.
I think just the winter event, or
Yeah.
yeah, something like that. Yeah, so it was all right.
I enjoyed that though, like all 3 of those maps. But,
Two. There's only 2 maps the
well,
first
that's right.
time.
There's only 2. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed it. You know, I played it for over a weekend, and then
I didn't buy the record book, so I was like,
neither did I.
yeah, I was way out of it, and I bought. I should have. You know, it was something I played enough of the game. It was only like $5 or something. I should have, or maybe 10. I probably should have, but
Yeah.
it was fun, man. I did enjoy that. It got old, really. I think 3 weeks was old, like longer than it should have lasted, but I wasn't gonna complain about it.
I think we forgot the whole point of that introduced emotes over just your normal ones around the same time as
Oh, was that the start of Eververse? Did Taken King not
no.
do that?
Taken King had emotes, but that's right around that time is when we started getting more than just our basic emotes. Because Taken King had that if you pre-ordered like the special edition, you got the like the hammer
the special
time
dances and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, but then they started bringing out like they had the Hotline Bling one, and then like, but that's when they first started bringing the emotes into the game. It was around that time too, which I thought was cool. That changed Destiny a lot as far as social interaction too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like just bringing emotes, which is crazy to think about. But.
Yeah. And then, man, past that, the worst event in Destiny history, Crimson Days.
Crimson Doubles.
Which was Crimson Doubles was the mode. The actual event itself was called Crimson Days, but it was terrible because that was right after they made the changes to special ammo, where you wouldn't spawn with it. And so there's that glitch where if you put on a sidearm and you killed yourself, and while you were dead you switched to a shotgun, you kept all that. So you had people like commit suicide. The drop rates were ridiculous. So you also had people just killing themselves right off the bat 5 rounds in a row, just so they could get a chance to get in the ghosts. Yeah, that was a cluster of an event. They said the drop rates were bugged and all that. It wasn't that fun. It was PvP only, so I know a lot of people didn't enjoy it right off the bat anyways. That's
funny. I actually enjoyed it because it was more laid back. It was probably the most casual Crucible I've ever played in this game.
Yeah. I mean, I had fun with it. I don't want to get anyone wrong. I loved at that time where if you had a shotgun, you could 1v3 no problem because people still didn't know how to play the game. Like, it just made me even more powerful, and my KD was probably crazy. I grinded out most of my 100 double wins that week, but it was the community's least favorite, and I think even it's still maybe this first Festival of the Lost would take in terms of content would take a back seat compared to that, but just overall it wasn't the best event. It wasn't very well thought out, I don't think, but yeah, there's that. So that never got a return, obviously. And then soon after that, we got the April update, which was weird. A free content update where we actually got like legitimate missions and stuff.
And revamped Prison of Elders or Challenge of That's where they introduced
Challenge of Elders. We got the Moloch Strike. What did you guys think when that was first announced? Were you excited for that? Were you like finally content after like 8 months, or no? I guess it would have only been 6 months. But how'd you feel about it?
I guess at that point I was already starting to get kind of sad. So there was definitely a point, and I think this is the point now that we're going through the timeline and I'm understanding everything falls. I think this is the time of the game that I started to care the least about it. This game didn't get me back until Rise of Iron. Mm-hmm. So it's right around here that I just started to not really care at all. I saw that the Challenge of Elders came out. I was like, okay, that's kind of cool, I guess, and Queenbreaker's bow and all that kind of stuff. I was like, okay, cool. I'll try and get that stuff. But when I didn't get drops for whatever, it wasn't breaking my heart. I wasn't grinding for anything. I wasn't like particularly trying to get anything. It just didn't really get me. I think this is just probably one of those lulls in Destiny that we're used to that I just really didn't care.
Yeah, I feel that. What about you, JC? Were you excited for it? Was this when did you join? So you were already in Legions when that happened,
right
right?
around Taken King is when
Okay.
September of 2015. So I was in good 6 months when that came out, if not more. I was still playing the Division, if I remember right. So I didn't actually...
yeah, we didn't talk about that.
Yeah.
The quote unquote Destiny killer. See how that works.
It was fun for a minute, but like
Yeah,
it didn't
first
have the
week.
legs of Destiny.
Yeah.
No, we played it for a good 2 or 3 months, but it was time to move on to something else for a little bit, just to come back to Destiny with fresh eyes, I think.
Yeah.
And probably July is when I came back and started, after I had been out for a bit, and started grinding out the Challenge of Elders, and I had some fun until Rise of Iron came out, but it was good to take that step back just for my sanity, because I had played so much Destiny up to that point.
Fair.
And like there was no new like raid content or something to do with a big group of friends, so it was like, okay, I can pick this up, a little bit before Rise of Iron, and then like get back into the groove, which is what I did. So it was like Icono said, I was probably in the same boat. It was a lull for me as far as Destiny at that point in time. Like I knew I was going to come back to the game, but I needed that time away from it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I was still doing it pretty much every day. That the April update was a huge time for my channel, because I got my first crazy popular video, which was how to farm the stolen will. Because back then you had to like actually get the rewards instead of them just being handed to you. That was real. I think that's sitting at like 70,000 views right now. It was pretty good. Man, yeah, that was a crazy time. I really did like the April update. It gave me a reason to come back and play every week consistently, and yeah. But after that, man, the period after the April update was just the worst. Where there was zero content until the Rise of Iron came out. That was just the absolute like worst 5 months in a video game.
When did they tease the Rise of? Because we didn't even know that.
Rise of Iron started getting teased like a month and a half before it got released, if that.
Okay,
man.
yeah.
It wasn't even that long.
We weren't even sure that they were gonna have another.
Ever do anything again?
Yeah,
because
exactly.
That's when, at that point, we still thought Destiny 2 was coming out then.
Yeah,
so
early the next year, early this year. Yeah.
And then we got word that it was pushed back and they're making some new content. And then we were like, oh great, another April update. And then the on Snapchat, I think it was, the Rise of Iron trailer leaked, and people were like, what the heck, Lord Shaxx or Saladin, and yeah, that was pretty crazy. That was just the most amazing thing, though, because I just remember reading that Game Informer article. I think it was like 14 pages long, just of all the information. That was really cool. Story-wise, that was the most excited I'd ever been for Destiny, for sure. And
yeah, I think the Taken King did a better job of as far as cutscenes and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, that's just also because the Taken King was like a planned expansion. Yeah. The Rise of Iron was just kind of like, we need something,
No, but I mean, like, I was more interested in the story of Rise of Iron than Taken King, but I think
yeah.
Just because it brought characters that they talked about a lot in the lore and even in the game. Like we were using weapons from these characters.
Yeah.
We never knew anything about them, and they didn't really flesh them out that much, but they at least like gave you a little bit of a backstory with that.
Yeah. Oh man, Rise of Iron was really cool. What did you think, Icono? What was your favorite thing about Rise of Iron?
I think Rise of Iron is where I started to come into my own with. That's when I started really, like, I was always like very serious about the game, and I was always very into like getting all the gear and really getting everything done. But I don't think it was until Rise of Iron that I actually started getting all the gear. Like, I did the raid and I got every piece for all three characters. I got every weapon for all three characters. Like, I think Rise of Iron was the first time that I was really starting to feel like I was like truly, beating the game, and it just felt good. And all the quality of life improvements that they made to make the game overall just a better game to play. I feel like a lot of that happened with Taken King, but Rise of Iron followed up with it, and it really brought a lot of life back into the game. Because I was at the point, like I heard, where I was in this lull, And honestly, I was at the point where I was saying to myself, they're really gonna have to wow me to get me back, because I was playing other games too at that point. And I think I was playing. I think I was playing this game called Diablo 3. I don't know if you've heard of it.
Nah, man. And then a couple Eververse updates later, and I kind of was like, I can never stop playing this game. I'm too invested at this point.
Yeah, because I decided to open my checkbook and give them literally all the money. So I was like,
all of the money.
I feel like I paid for about 10% of Rise of Iron with all the money I put in it. And I kept saying to myself, this game DLC better be good for as much as I put into it.
Yeah.
So, it was great. I loved Rise of Iron. I have nothing but good memories from Rise of Iron. The raid.
Oh, nothing but good memories. That's weird. Does that go for the world's first attempt too?
Well, all right. So, we don't talk about the world's first attempt. We don't talk about that.
That's a taboo subject. Right?
I'm just saying, man. We were first, man. We were in first. We have it stream logged.
No, I was watching because nobody had good enough internet to watch the Twitch and to do.
Oh yeah.
At the same time. So I was the only one that had a decent enough setup. So what I did is I have my MacBook Pro here. I've got a Thunderbolt display, and then I've got my monitor that I play Destiny on. Then I had my iPad, and then I had my wife's Surface. So what I was doing is I was watching on 4 different screens at once on 4 different raid attempts.
Oh,
and
we were ahead of all of them
we were ahead of all of them
until that
happened. That we won't talk about.
Fateful day, dude. That was.
Yeah, like we were like right there, because I remember like I was keeping a close eye on Goths, because I don't know why, I think I know why. It's because they were world's first
Taken King. Yeah, Taken.
So
yeah.
I was keeping a real close eye on Goths, and I just noticed that we were at the Siege Engine when they were still doing the jumping puzzle after Vasek, and I'm like, damn, are we really that far ahead of these guys? And I was like, we really have a shot at this, because if we're that much faster than Goth's group, then we might actually have a chance.
And I remember I looked up Dado's stream after that event happened, and he was still finding out how to do Siege Engine. Yeah, and I was like, we had a legitimate chance at this, and
it happened.
It happened, man. What a day in my life. What a day.
What a day.
Would you like me to bring some positivity to this?
Yeah, go ahead, dude. I'm gonna start crying on stream. I can't do this.
You can't cry on stream.
Okay.
I think my fondest memory of Rise of Iron is not just Rise of Iron itself, which was an amazing raid, and I think we gave up on that raid too quickly. Honestly, like we all stopped playing Rise of Iron, like the raid, faster than any of the other raids, and I still think it's fun to this day. I don't know why we did.
I think it was just one of those things. We had just come out of a content drought, and then Rise of Iron wasn't as big as the Taken King, so I think it was just like, I think a lot of people were just like, all right, back into the content drought,
Yeah, but I think the best memory is more the it's basically when we defined our group of players.
The dream team, if you will.
I don't want to say that, but like the group of 6 or 7 of us that we're like really close, and we get stuff done, and we enjoy raids together. Like,
wait, so that's right about the size of a raid team, man. Did you ever have dreams about this raid team? That's the thing. Like, no one listening to this is gonna understand any of this.
You do that a lot. Like, you talk about
there was so much salt during that period of time. Like
you just do that all the time. You name drop people in our clan. You talk about things that only the clan knows about. I often wonder what it's like to listen to this podcast, because people are probably like, "What the hell are they talking about? Who the hell's Psycho, and why is he such a dick?"
Yeah.
No, but like that was the point in time where I think we just really defined our group of core players for this clan.
Yeah, absolutely, and that shows through even to this day.
Yeah.
And just an Iconos statement. Like, there was a point in time where I kind of tried to suppress all that, but then at the end of the day, like, if people are really enjoying this, they're enjoying our interactions. So I feel like even if they don't know why we are reacting the way they do, hopefully they can still enjoy the reaction. Is what I'm shooting for. Plus, it's like, this is my time to kind of like screw around with you guys as well, and it's like if I can't talk about any of our inside jokes, then Like, why am I doing it with you two and not two other random people? You know, so
Right. No, I get what you're saying. I just often wonder what it's like to be a.
I bet it's got to be pretty damn awesome. That's for sure. Oh man.
No,
Yeah.
yeah. Long story short, it was like we all became pretty good friends over that point in time, and there was some diversity during that time as well, which really stunk because it wasn't intended, and a lot of what happened wasn't what anybody wanted, and it was just unfortunate, but it really did solidify a lot of the bonds that we created during that time.
Yeah, for sure.
Still have to this, still have almost a year later. So
what is crazy to me personally with how hyped Rise of Iron is, or was rather, it's crazy to me that I would argue, I don't know if this is from a personal standpoint, but being in a clan as large as ours, I would argue that Age of Triumph brought back twice as many people as Rise of Iron did. It's just like, just a tiny update. Well, it wasn't, I wouldn't really call it tiny. In the scale of things, compared to a DLC, Age of Triumph wasn't that big. And it brought back so many more people just for the nostalgia, which is crazy that old content, to me, seems like it brought back more people than new content. Which is something...
No, it makes sense, though, because, like, we didn't get to experience those raids with the new weapons. We didn't get to experience them with our close friends that we made. Like, most people that experienced those raids the first time were with a random fire team that some of them, might have made, clan mates with, or, they might have gone along their way and never talked to them again.
Yeah.
So, like, to have your established group of players that you play Destiny with and be able to play the old raids and enjoy them and enjoy upgraded weapons and armor and new armor, with
chroma and ornaments.
Ornaments on them, like that made a whole new experience where you could enjoy it with the friends that you had made over the last 2 years in Destiny.
Yeah.
So it makes sense to me because there's a lot of nostalgia for Vault of Glass for a lot of people, especially year one players.
Yeah, for sure.
And that was the raid and for the longest time. So, and for me, it's now probably my third favorite raid, but I had so much nostalgia for it. Going back to it, it was like, oh yeah, this is one of my favorite raids, blah blah blah. But they've definitely improved their raids since then.
I'll give you that.
Each one they've gotten better in my opinion. Like just learning mechanics and learning different things. Other than Crota, I didn't think Crota was a step back, but that was rushed, super rushed. So
yeah.
But yeah, like I think that's why Age of Triumph was as big of a hit as it was. Is just it brought all the content together and made it basically a big loop of you could do whatever you wanted in Destiny and it mattered.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with that. And I've been really enjoying it with the raid carries and really solidifying our clan down and kind of getting a larger presence on YouTube and all of that. Age of Triumph has been a pretty big landmark and pretty much everyone I know's Destiny timeline. So yeah, for sure. And I mean, we kind of skipped over the second SRL, but it was redundant. Second Festival of the Lost, also redundant. Nothing too big. Like minor things.
Good. See, like if we were going to do a podcast about the bad parts of the last 3 years, that would probably be at the top for me because that was literally just a cash grab. Those events, especially the Festival of the Lost.
Yeah.
So I don't think that needs to go in this podcast.
But if that's it, if we just finished the Age of Triumph, so verdict time. So everyone in chat, go ahead. Tell us just your definitive answer. What was your favorite period of Destiny and why? Try to be pretty concise with it. But Icano, you go first. What would you think, man? If you had to make a decision, if you had to live in one period of Destiny for the rest of your Destiny days, what period would that be?
Where we're at right now, I think, year 3, post Age of Triumph, I think, right now it feels good, man. It's like, all of the work that you've done over the last 3 years means something. I got a vault that's full of great gear. I got a lot of stuff to do. You're getting all that gear that you didn't get before. You're just getting all that rare loot that you didn't, get your hands on for whatever reason. The raids are back. We're doing raid carries every week, trying to help people out. I don't know. It's just a good time to be playing the game. There's not a whole lot of negative to say about the game right now.
Yeah.
So it's right now.
All right, JC, what do you think?
Vanilla Destiny.
Oh.
Because I enjoyed the grind. I enjoyed the experience of learning everything about Destiny on my own. Like, I didn't have a group of friends, like I said, to play with. So, like, as far as the content-wise, just learning everything in year 1. Year 3, as far as friendship-wise, like, just because that's, you know, it was, like I said, a culmination of all of Destiny coming together as far as friends I've made, as far as raids, everything like that. But definitely year 1 just for the grind. I enjoy grind.
Yeah.
And, that it did it for me. So.
All right. So this is a lot harder of a decision. I think every period in Destiny is amazing in its own right. But if I had to choose, I think I really like thinking back. I really like the nostalgia of when I first started learning what Trials is. But if I was to stay in that period of time forever, it would get really redundant. There wasn't a lot of content back then. So I think I'm going to have to go with Icano's answer of here, just because I've been doing these raids every single week and these strikes and these story missions and everything every single week since like Rise of Iron has dropped, or since, let's say, the Age of Triumph has dropped. And I am, you know, I get kind of irritated easily at redundant stuff, and you know, I'm still feeling pretty good about this. So I as much as I enjoyed, if I had to say which period of Destiny did I enjoy the most, when I first started playing House of Wolves, but which one have I enjoyed the most over a period of time? It would have to be Age of Triumph, I'd say.
Even with the ammo changes in Crucible?
Yeah, man. They're kind of annoying. They wouldn't be annoying if sidearms weren't a thing. But they are a thing, so that kind of sucks. But other than that, you know, there's a couple of guns that are more usable. Let's say like Palindrome for that can 2-tap and stuff like that. But it's still fairly balanced in Crucible. Ratul and I spent all weekend grinding for the Legend badge on Trials Report. We both got it. I mean, I played like 60 games of Trials this weekend. I had a lot of fun. I'm not gonna lie. Doing all the raids.
Map too, that helped.
Yeah, rotating map, 18 different maps or 19, whatever. We're at 95 raid carries in the past like 2 months. No, not 2. That's a lie. 4 months. Which is, I mean, that's a lot of raids in 9 months. Or god dang it, 4 months. Not even including the ones that we've done ourselves. There's a lot of content, and I really like all of the content, you know, and that even like stuff I don't like that much, like King's Fall. It's not, don't get me wrong, like I've said multiple times, it's not that I hate King's Fall, it's just that it sucks, right? So no, I'm just messing, but I can just kind of, I can deal with it because there's other great content. So yeah, I'd have to go with the Age of Triumph as well. But let's get into some of the community. Let's see. Caleb in chat says he likes House of Wolves the best. He says, it's where I saw Destiny was a viable game to put my time into. I like the drops, I like the meta, and I had fun. Wasn't balanced or refined, but I liked it. And that's something I like to bring up. So House of Wolves, I can't believe I forgot this, introduced reforging. Which,
oh gosh,
that kind of sucked, but yeah, that made like a grindy game like never grind again. It's done. Like So, yeah, but House of Wolves. Like I said, I really enjoyed House of Wolves. Zessie says the best period for me in Destiny is year 3. Is the most customization for characters, the diversity in weapons and armor. Also, like with the customization, year 3 is also the best because I can hang out with all my friends I made, and that's a pretty good point as well. Like, I think with year 3 having so much content, it's a great culmination for people who did spend all 2.5 years making friends. So now you can just play all the content with them. So that's a pretty good one. And that's something we didn't mention either. April update brought in a huge amount of customization. That was the first introduction of Chroma. Then we started to get the ornaments with the Rise of Iron. Customization's definitely, because if you remember, like in the first year of Destiny, if you were pledged to a faction, in order to be pledged to the faction, you had to be wearing their class item, which did not change with shaders.
Well, no, you couldn't get experience unless you wore the class item. I think. It was.
Yeah. Excuse me. Yeah. So that was there was no pledging to factions back then. You just had to you had to buy their class item, and that's how you pledged, by having it on. But that was the thing. Like, they didn't change with shaders. Most of them didn't. Some of the old Dead Orbit ones did, but a lot of them didn't, and it just kind of ruined fashion. But now we're at a point in Destiny where, like, just the raid sets, there's like 9 or 1, 2, 3, 4, 8. Yeah, 9 different raid sets. There's just so much, man. Yeah, there's so much customization.
Well, I think they realized after year 1, when people were complaining about, I'm level 30 and I look the same as every level 30 player.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think they learned from that, and they learned from other RPG games. Because, I mean, as much as they don't want to call it an RPG, it's got a lot of RPG elements. So other RPGs have a ton of customization. So they needed to kind of match that, or not match it, but like have it in their own way.
Yeah, for sure. And I remember with Rise of Iron, they made it so a lot of class items started taking shaders again, and that was huge. Like, when people
exotic armor too, right? Or is that?
Yeah, because especially exotic armor, because even when they did change with shaders in year 1, like stuff changed with shaders, exotic armor didn't. So that was like when Saint 14 and Lucky Raspberry and stuff, they really started to change with shaders. That's pretty cool. TXG Ninja says Dark Below is his favorite because he got Galley the same day as it's released. I don't know if that defines it as being the best period in Destiny, but I mean, you do you know? But still, Dark Below is, I imagine, pretty nice because it was the first expansion for the game. That had to be pretty crazy going into it, man. Let's see. Yeah, I think that's pretty much all of it. Do you guys have anything else to say with anything that we've gone over today?
We're playing a really good game. Let's just take a moment to acknowledge how good the game is. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, we all have gripes over the last 3 years, but I think we all have a lot of good memories over the last 3 years too. And
yeah,
you know, just the fact that this game was able to do everything it's done in charity for St. Jude's and for Nepal and everything like that. I mean, that's just icing on an already pretty damn good cake as far as I'm concerned.
Exactly. So, it's funfetti. It's got the sprinkles. It's got oh man.
I'm not even going that. I'm going to go even further. It's a Dairy Queen ice cream cake.
Oh.
Oh yeah. I'm going to go that far.
So I'll go as far to say this is my favorite game ever made.
Ever, yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah.
And not just for the gameplay, for the social aspects. Just I've made a lot of really good friends on this game, and like friends that I should have the rest of my life, that type of thing. So like,
oh, Jay-Z, you're gonna make me cry, dude. You gotta.
Well, I wasn't talking about Geo. I was talking about Icano. No, I'm just playing. But no, seriously, like legit, like real friends that like someday we'll all get together and like hang out. But
better.
Absolutely. Well, you and I are, in Alaska, pretty close to each other. So
in Alaska. See, yeah, that's crazy. This game has gone from a game where Wolfen was like, we should just pick this up one day, to it literally being something I put hours into every single day, playing for 7,000 subs, or going on 7. The Destiny 2 event, friends that I never would have met. Man, this game is actually that one thing. Wolfen suggesting me to buy this one game has completely changed my life forever, and it's insane that any piece of media has that capability. Yeah. So that's pretty awesome, and I'm really looking forward to see what Destiny 2 holds in the future. It's launched your
YouTube career. Like, you would have probably never thought of doing YouTube or anything.
Yeah,
like that.
Never, dude.
Had it not been for this game.
That was the thing. Yeah, I made a bet with Victoria. I put up my first video, and then I was hooked. That was it.
Yeah, that in itself is pretty awesome. Like, there's 6,300 subscribers now, and growing. So I mean, yeah, it's amazing.
Oh man,
it really is.
Yeah, it's crazy, and like I said, I look forward to Destiny 2. But that's pretty much been the episode. That was episode 30. If you're brand new listening on iTunes, hi, welcome. Hope you enjoyed the episode. If you are here and you still enjoy it, you can, if you would, consider leaving us a iTunes review. That would help us grow the podcast, gain a bigger audience, and mess around in front of a larger audience of people, which would be nice. If you guys are watching it on my YouTube channel, over at youtube.com/Scarrow9, if you could go to the link in the description and leave a review there, that would be amazing. But I've been Scarrow9. Like I said, you can find me on YouTube at Scarrow9 or on Twitter as at Scarrow9 as well. Icono and then Jay-Z, do your things, man.
You can now see my stuff right there on the new old Scarrow made for this, so I don't even have to give my little spiel.
Oh, no, you should still do it because iTunes is all audio.
Yeah, oh, that's right, all audio. Gotta get used to that. You can find me on Twitter at XXIconoclast. I'm also using that as my gamer tag on Xbox Live, and I would love to play with you guys in this wonderful game of Destiny that we
And Jay-Z Basketball 25 on Xbox and on the Twitters.
All right, then. So episode 30, that pretty decent milestone. Next week is the computer beta ? Yes.
For you two.
Yeah, for us too. We can't do a live episode because my computer will not handle that shenanigans. But we'll talk about it. Because I think is it the 24th, Icono? 23rd for early access? Is that right?
Yeah, it's 23rd early access, 24 open.
Okay, so 23rd, so a week would be... Yeah, so we'll have plenty of time to play it and talk about it next week, and I'm sure there'll be more news and stuff like that. So I hope you guys did enjoy this episode, and yeah, we'll see you next week.
Peace.
Peace.